The Lord Jesus Christ said, "If you love me, keep my commandments." Our actions are a reflection of our hearts, and the actions and life of Adoniram Judson and his wife Nancy are a reflection of their love for the Lord Jesus Christ. At a young age, Adoniram rejected the faith of his Christian family and decided to follow his dreams. A series of circumstances led to his salvation at the age of 20. Soon after his salvation, Adoniram received his call to be a missionary to Burma. His first major test was soon to come. He was offered the position to pastor one of America's largest churches. The position would mean a life of success and prosperity, doing what appeared to be a good thing. Yet God had other plans for him. Adoniram rejected the offer and chose the will of God over a happy Christian life. He went to Burma. As he prepared to move to Burma, Adoniram proposed to his wife Nancy. He warned her of the sufferings and sacrifices of the mission field. She accepted. Thus, the Judsons departed for Burma, ready to lose their lives for the gospel's sake. As he arrived in India and prepared to go to Burma, the English missionaries told Adoniram to stay away from Burma. The king of Burma was an evil ruler, well known for his brutality, and Burma was known as a lawless land. The Judsons were encouraged to minister in India instead. As Britain and America were about to enter war, Adoniram was forced to escape the persecution of the British authorities. Weeks went by running from the authorities. At one point, he had no choice but to flee by ship, and only one ship was available. The ship was bound to Rangoon, Burma. An amazing combination of world events and circumstances, all occurring at the right time, all under the control of God, landed him where the Lord wanted him, Burma. Yet, in spite of being right in the will of God, life in Burma was remarkably difficult for the Judsons. They were initially unwelcomed by the locals. They suffered from the extreme heat of Burma. They would often experience severe sickness. They lacked any comfort. They lacked friends. Nancy had already lost a child at sea, and they also lost their second son when he was only 8 months old. These huge afflictions did not stop Adoniram from dedicating hours and hours and hours on end to learn the Burmese language, write tracts, witness to the Burmese, and begin the translation of the Bible into Burmese language. After 6 years of hard, persistent labor, Adoniram saw the first Burmese convert. Others followed. In spite of the success of the ministry, the Judsons still continued to experience many discouragements and hardships. Many of the saved believers deserted the ministry when persecution arose. One bitter missionary lady accused the Judsons of doing the work of the devil. Other missionaries deserted them. Disappointed by these temporary missionaries, Adoniram wrote, "How can we, who are devoted for life, cordially take to our hearts one who is a mere hireling? I have seen the beginning, middle, and end of several limited-term missionaries. They are all good for nothing. Though brilliant in an English pulpit, they are incompetent to any real missionary work. The motto of every missionary, whether preacher, printer, or schoolmaster, ought to be devoted for life." That was Adoniram's mission motto, devoted for life. These external hardships reached their climax when Britain entered into war with Burma. Adoniram was imprisoned and brutally tortured. He was tied upside down with his body off the ground, only resting on his head and shoulders for long hours. He experienced starvation, extreme heat, unbearable conditions, and was forced to walk barefoot for kilometers with the flesh of his skinless souls exposed to the ground. How did he survive? The Lord and Nancy Judson. Nancy's persistent and arduous insistence on the merciless authorities made possible the survival of Adoniram Judson. While she fought for his survival, she had to care for a newborn baby, feed Adoniram and the other prisoners, care for the mission station, and endure the abuses of the authorities. Nancy not only saved the life of Adoniram Judson, but she also saved the only available copy of the New Testament in the Burmese language by hiding it from the Burmese authorities. Its survival was miraculous. Britain won the war, and Adoniram was later released and recovered. However, Nancy's health remained in a fragile state. She died about a year later. Her death crushed Adoniram to pieces. He began an internal battle with depression. He isolated himself and began to seek the Lord. He later said, "The love of Christ, the breadth and length and depth and height of the love of Christ. If I had not felt certain that every additional trial was ordered by infinite love and mercy, I could not have survived my accumulated sufferings." It was during this time that Adoniram began to retire to the jungle to spend the days in prayer. Unknown to Adoniram, the jungle was infested with tigers. As the days went by, Adoniram went back and forth from his home to the jungle. The locals began to realize that the God of Adoniram was protecting him. They began to listen to him, and a revival broke among the people. Adoniram continued to minister to the Burmese, and later finished the translation of the Bible. On 1819, Adoniram had prayed that he might live to translate the entire Bible into Burmese, and that he would pastor a Burmese church of at least 100 members. By the time of his death, the entire Bible was translated into Burmese, a monumental work that took 23 years to complete, and more than 8,000 are believed to have come to salvation as a result of his ministry during his lifetime.